Welcome to the Apex Sunday podcast, hosted by myself, Robert Ross, and co hosted by John Dowsett. John, we're talking about the spectacular circuit, Phillip Island, and the races that go on there. Uh, Again, like we said last year, probably my favorite circuit. It's just a wonderful circuit layout, elevation changes, uh, wind and weather interfering, and it's also a tire management circuit. You, the rider has to keep track of or take care of the tires to race or get on the podium, and that's a
Hmm.
strategy kind of thing I like. And it may disappear after next year. There's a bit of disputes going on, and it's hard to get to, and not many people can get there. Most expensive race on the calendar because of that. Um, there's Albert Park tried to get the race, and you can't race motorcycles on a street circuit. It'd be terrible if it went away, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be, but it wouldn't surprise me because it's Liberty Media now, and
Yeah, yeah,
and they're all about bums and seats. And
yeah.
you're right. This is like one of the best tracks I think I've ever seen. I mean,
Hmm.
it's right up there. My God, what a beautiful track. I was looking at it and I was looking at the layout, and I was thinking, I'd love to drive that track, or would I? It's
Yes,
like it's got to be the right car. Um,
yeah. We'll
on
have to
on
try it
on
on the simulations for sure.
But bikes, oh my god, like just
Mm,
what a phenomenal track.
mm.
There's that one turn. I don't You can tell me what turn it is, where they're coming up a hill, it's a left-hand turn, and it
Yeah,
crests and it comes down into another left-hand turn. I just look at that and think, whoa, that would be so amazing.
yeah. Lukey Heights, they call it. Yeah, that would be incredible. And the see Stoner Corner, the sliding through it,
Yeah,
and the long straight in that first turn kind of reminds me a little bit of Mo Sport, where you're sort of going into that turn, and it's just you know it's got some really good qualities, and I'm always look forward to the racing there. It's be a shame if it went away. And to continue with that, we don't talk about qualifying that much, but the qualifying for this was spectacular, wasn't it?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
It's just so
Well,
entertaining, and the bikes moving around, and
the whole event was
Fabio.
amazing.
Sorry, oh yeah, of course, but it's just I when I watched the qualifying, and it's usually just okay, that happened, but this one was just edge of your seat qualifying. So
Yeah,
wonderful to see that again. And again, like you just said, testament to the track. And then we have
speed
Fabio. Mhm.
speed wobbles and sliding,
Yes,
and not letting up. Just
yes.
my God, yeah.
Yeah, you can tell again, it's on the limit. I mean, I guess motorcycles compared to Formula One have a bit of you can tell the limit more obviously. But if you go down to quote lower classes in car racing, uh, they move around a lot as well,
Hmm.
don't they? And
Hmm.
obviously, the old F1 cars moved around a lot. So I'm sure the ones that we see now do too. I mean, I remember Max having a couple of amazing saves, but it's not to this constant level of going and just wobbling all over the place. So um, yeah, it was just great to see them racing to the edge and getting great results. And Fabio Quartararo on pole again, that just testament to his speed, but obviously tire management race, you can't go that fast on the Yamaha through the entire race, so he drops back in the sprint in the race. Um, so let's get on to Raul Fernandez, who won his first race
Yeah,
after 4 years. I
right.
have said before, what's going on with him. He's great in Moto 2. And I think this is a perfect example of talent is not enough. You need it. You need your brain to be there. You need all kinds of things to win a race and to consistently be on the podium. So we don't know if he's going to be consistent from now on. Sometimes when you see someone get their first win, it, it's a roll like a rolling ball. I remember Marc in 125 in Moto 2. he didn't start off winning, but once got his first win, it was like five more in a row right afterwards because he figured it all out. So I hope Raul does. I mean, the more at the front, the better for me. Uh, Apparently, his fitness wasn't that great in the past, and Trackhouse gave him a talking to. And I remember him being, frankly, quite arrogant when he came into MotoGP. And I thought, this, but he thanked everyone. He seemed humble. He seemed to understand, a bigger picture of how you race. Have you seen this before in racers before?
In everything, in every form of racing I've done, in bicycles,
Mm.
in downhill racing, downhill skiing, and cars, motorcycle, everything.
Yeah.
It's this holy grail to win, and there are lots of competitors that never do win. But
Mm.
once you win, it gives you that. You have this thing in your head that you're the best, and you have to think that you're the best. But if you haven't
Yep.
won, am I really the best? And now all of a sudden you've won, and now it just cements your confidence. And
Right.
I think that's the main one. But once you've won, it becomes easy to win. Don't
Hmm.
really know how to explain that.
But it's also, I guess you said easy to win. I mean, I guess you meant easier, right? Because it's even though you win, like Mark wins a lot, Max in F1, it's still you have to deliver. It's very
Oh,
hard to do
absolutely.
that
But it
consistently.
removes a whole bunch of
Yes.
of baggage that you're carrying around with you that goes away. You know,
Yeah.
and and
Exactly.
and do I really belong here? I know I'm the best, but do I really belong here? And is my car really up to it? Is my bike really up to it? I don't know. And then you win, and you go, well, yeah, you can win. So let's
Yeah.
do it. Yeah,
Hmm. And I guess you do need that sort of at this level. You need to be at the top fitness. You have to focus on
absolutely.
your. It's a it's a it's a job. You love doing it. It's your dream to do. It's a dream job, but it's still a hell of a lot of work to be successful. And
Right.
perhaps he was lacking that before. And Trackhouse believed in him for so long. Uh, so good for them. It's great result
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I agree. And a
And it was the
phenomenal
three.
ride.
Oh yeah, I mean to lead like with all that baggage of and the pressure, like people were saying, what is he still in MotoGP for?
Right.
To lead all that time and to get it done, that's a great achievement. So very
The
nice
only
to
thing
see.
the only thing that ticked me off about that race, it was we didn't see a lot of there was a lot of action that they missed.
Yeah.
But back to the limit very briefly when you're talking about seeing these bikes at the limit. Um,
Mhm.
I think a lot of it has to do with the phenomenal slow mo shots, and the camera work is second to none. I
Yeah.
I used to be a sports cinematographer. I can't
Yeah.
even imagine how they're capturing this stuff. I mean, we've got some really amazing technology and amazing um, technicians behind it getting those shots.
Hmm. You primarily did skiing, like
I
downhill
did
skiing.
I did everything. I did
Okay.
everything. Yeah,
Right.
cycling, track, absolutely everything. Yeah,
It was the 300th win for Aprilia across all classes, not just the MotoGP class. So that's quite an achievement. They withdrew from Superbikes in 2018 to focus on MotoGP, and we've seen them have occasional wins. Leish won a couple races and so forth, and then they sort of petered out at the end of the season. But it's the opposite. They weren't particularly good at the beginning of this season, and now they're really, really quite up there, very competitive. So it's great to see another bike being competitive, and the guy who's largely, or at least the rider, I mean, it's also Aprilia is largely responsible. But Bezzecchi took on this new role of developing. He's never developed a bike before. It was expected to be Martin, and Bez. He did take some time to fully adapt, but he has adapted and made the bike his own. And he won the sprint really, despite falling back. And his speed is really incredible, and he's just riding so well, isn't he?
I, I'm looking at the results here. and they came out with a statement in the race saying, could he be the second person that could have two long lap penalties and still win the race?
Right.
And he started that race brilliantly, and
Great
for a while,
strategy.
there, it actually looked like he might be able to pull it off.
Yeah.
And I think if he'd had one penalty rather than two, he might have been able to do it, but two is just a little bit too much to overcome.
Yeah.
But to come in third,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, like what a rider!
Yeah, and this is all, this is Phillip Island. It's sort of like the spa of and
Yes,
Suzuka of it's the riders circuit. So
yeah,
it's great to see. Bez did well a couple seasons ago, and then on the 23, not so well. Only Marc did well on that, and uh, the Aprilia is talking up their chances to win the championship next season, and go for it. I hope that there's more battles, and
oh yeah,
definitely Bezzecchi, Raul, hopefully. Iogura will be in his second season. He'll have learned all the circuits and so forth, and he has room for growth. And then Martin, we have no idea. uh, he was good before, but perhaps he'll have to adapt. And
hmm
Marc is easily the fastest adapter I've seen, but Bez, just super, super impressive to me. I mean, there are so many stories of this season. There's Marc's complete dominance until he got injured. I don't know. He might have done well here. If Digi is on the podium, there's a good chance Marc would have been. There's Alex Marquez's performance throughout the entire season. And even here in the race, he was second and then fell back to fourth, but he got a lot of valuable points. And then there's the rise of Bezzecchi and Aprilia, and Bezzecchi is now third in the championship. So, despite Marc's dominance, there's still a lot of great stories this season.
hmm
So, and we talked last podcast about the quality of the riders, and so there's only 4 riders now that haven't won a race: Pedro Acosta, Luca Marini, uh, Chantra, and he's not going to win a race, and Iogura, of course, the rookie. So that speaks to the quality that, except for those 4, they've all won races, or at least one race. And I think Pedro Acosta will be winning races in the future, no problem. So
So then it just comes down to equipment. I mean,
equipment, yeah,
can Aprilia, KTM, Yamaha,
and
everybody,
Honda.
and
Mhm.
Honda bring up the game? Um, because how much fun would that be instead of watching Marc spend half the race just dawdling around by his standards, and then the last third of the race or last 25% of the race letting it go, and then he's just on his own. It'd be
Oh
really
yeah,
nice to see some dicing with him because yeah, I'd
yeah,
like to see that.
like he did with Martin last season at this circuit, right? That
Yeah,
was just such a great race, and it's the KTM's are back to losing their tires big time towards the end of a race. Yamaha not too good on tires. Alex Rins didn't do too bad, 7th in the race, ahead of Fabio, but he probably didn't go all out and preserve his tires better. And I think the concession system is showing signs of working, where Honda and Yamaha can
yes,
a lot of testing and so
yes,
forth, and you see Ducati can't test much, can't have any wild cards. So when Pirro substitutes for Marc, he's at the very back. He used to be kind of
yeah.
in the points all the time. So um, the concession system and the long lap penalty are two things people say. What can MotoGP take from F1 because of Liberty Media? F1 should take this from MotoGP, I think.
There's a bunch of stuff they can take. They can take that. They can also take the long lap penalty. Long lap
Yeah,
penalty is brilliant.
it
In
is.
F1, you get a 5-second penalty, you're screwed. But
Mhm.
you have to come into the pits. It's not just a 5-second penalty.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, they're just taking you out of the race. You got a penalty, you're just out of the race. Whereas these guys
yeah.
can have a penalty. I mean, seriously, I think Bez could have won that race had he just had one penalty. I really think he
Mhm.
could have. Definitely
Yeah.
would have been second.
Oh, I think so. Absolutely. And yeah, it's interesting that yeah, these races have that element of people can fall back and still win or come back with like a long lap and so forth.
Hmm.
F1, not so much. I mean, there's a comeback in the championship now with Max, but that's sort of an overall comeback, not a particular race
Right.
comeback. So, um, yeah, I'm not, I don't mean to bitch about F1, but this MotoGP formula in particular when 2027 comes around, I hope is just a bit more. It produces more entertaining races more consistently. There have been some entertaining races in F1 as well, but no, this was great. Um,
The key difference for me, being an F1 fan for a very long time,
mhm.
and relatively new to MotoGP, is that for the most part, F1's kind of like NASCAR. It's just boring. You know,
Yeah.
the first few laps, first 4 or 5 laps are exciting,
Mhm.
and then it gets into a rhythm and it's kind of boring and
Yeah.
hard to pass, difficult to pass, and you see, and then you just get frustrated because if you're a fan of a driver and they're stuck behind somebody but they're faster, and you're watching lap after lap and they can't get by them. That's entirely different from MotoGP. You know, if you're
Mhm.
faster, you're getting by the guy. That's all there is to it. And
Yeah.
and
Or Pedro Acosta has been known as like the widest bike because it's very hard to pass him, but they do eventually pass him,
they do,
right?
yeah.
So, mhm.
And so yeah,
Yeah.
it's a much better event to watch.
Right. Right. So, Pecco again. Uh, Complete disaster. The bike was shaking. I first saw that in Austria in the sprint, and he pulled out of that because the bike was shaking. It seems that both sides, the garage and Pecco, are completely at odds and at loss with each other.
I don't understand.
Um, yeah, it's a complete mystery. What's going to be interesting is what is going to be the GP26 like if you look back, the GP23, Pecco won the championship on that. But when Bez and Alex got on it, they were way behind Mark.
Hmm.
And then when the GP24 comes out, Alex is just incredible on it.
Hmm.
Um, and last season we had Pecco and Martin battling all the way to the end on that bike. GP25 comes out, and pretty much Mark is amazing on it. Pecco meandering at the beginning. I mean, he was in third place for much of the season, but he's really declined. And Digia, he occasionally shows up like he did this event, but then other events he's not there. So is Ducati, do they produce a bike that it seems to be a problem for certain riders? And it's going to be when Alex Marquez gets on the GP26, it's going to be very interesting to see what he says. And he says, "Well, now I understand what Pecco's problems were, or this is a great bike. It's not. It's kind of like the GP24." I have a feeling that they'll basically put out a GP24 ish bike, so more riders can score points, and it's not. It won't be anything against Mark because Mark is Mark, right? So he can just ride it anyways. So, uh, but if Pecco does not merge or get better results next season, I think he's got to go to another team. I think that if you're if you can't figure it out both ways, where do you go with that? I don't know. It's
I'm surprised that, you know, you brought it up in our last podcast that he was kind of worried about Mark,
mhm.
but meanwhile Mark's sharing, and you know he's a good teammate. You
Yeah,
would think that he could impart exactly what it is, what it takes to ride the bike, but obviously he just doesn't have the skill.
yeah. Well, when he says Mark would have been at least on the podium of this event, he's basically saying Mark can ride the bike, I can't, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And if you go back to Honda as well, in the data exchange, the problem again, and we've talked about this before, is that if you try to ride like Mark, you crash. Um, no one can ride like him, so that data gives them insight, but it doesn't allow them to say, "Well, I'm going to do this kind of corner," and they might do it a couple times, but they can't do it for the full race. So,
Right.
uh, these riders come along occasionally, and drivers, because we kind of see that with Max in the Red Bull
Hmm.
and his other teammates, right? Um,
Yeah,
People
different.
talk about, sorry,
That's different. That's different. I seriously believe that's vastly different. I mean,
how
you
so?
can't compare the two because the number two driver to Max or the number two driver to the number one driver at Red Bull is always a domestique. His only
Yeah,
job is to come in fourth or fifth or seventh
right,
and hopefully hold up some cars so they can't catch up to the number one driver. That's been their strategy from day one.
right.
And it's not like um, all the rest of the teams that 90% of the teams that don't really have team orders. And you
Right.
just go. You want to race your teammate. Some of them say, okay, if they go into corner one first and they're consistently roughly the same lap time, don't pass them. But
Mhm.
that's about as far as it goes. But Red Bull, no, I don't think you can say that about Max. I don't think Max is everything that he's made up to be, even though some Hall of Fame drivers that I've talked to have said he's the best thing they've ever seen. So,
Mhm. Well, it is interesting that since Horner left, the second driver is doing a little bit better. But
mhm, mhm,
yeah, it's whereas Ducati, they didn't interfere with Martin winning on in a satellite team, still their bike, but you know they would have liked Pecco to win last season, right? But
yeah,
they didn't pull any nonsense, and I really like that. Hopefully that continues. Everyone will, everyone, all these. There's a lot of nonsense on the internet, like Bez took out Mark intentionally, and so that makes no sense because then he'll be penalized, and he wouldn't. It just we know how much nonsense there is. So
right.
um, then the Alex continues his march to second. I think he will place second. It'll be the first time two brothers have finished first and second in history of the championship. I'm wondering if Mark will show up in Malaysia just in case that happens. So we'll see that. But to talk about the sprint, Alex Marquez again, he had a great start from sixth to the lead, and then we had a great battle between Alex, Digia, Pedro, and Miller. And Miller was so close to getting a podium, but he didn't try a bonehead move to pass. Um, who was it? Pedro, right? And
Let's call it
finish fourth.
aggressive rather than bonehead.
Right, right. Well, I was just thinking about Martin again when he took out his own teammate a couple races ago.
Right.
Um, and when he did that, I was thinking, Aprilia is not going to like that at all because Bez is battling for third in the championship, and Pecco had just won the sprint in the race, but now Bez is third anyways because Pecco has scored 0 points in two events since then. So, you know, very it turned it turned on its head very quickly. So,
Hmm.
and the race, like we said before, I think Bez maximized his strategy. He had to get out as fast as possible, do the double laps, and did very well. And the Digio Acosta bottle was very good, and then Acosta faded. So again, tire management at Phillip Island, just a great circuit and a great event. So in terms of rating, I'll give the event 7. I've seen much better races at Phillip Island, but they're very enjoyable. And rider, Raul, second in the sprint, wins his first race. Uh, hopefully he does. Hopefully this carries on. What about yourself?
I'm going to rate it a 9 because it was
Hmm.
just wonderful throughout, and made me think maybe Mark should come back. Um, um, and the rider definitely is Bez. I
That's
mean,
right.
he was just relentless. It'd be very easy to say, okay, I'm just going to stay here. I'm not going to be able
Oh
to do
yeah,
it. I'm just going to relax.
yeah,
But he never let up the whole
yeah.
time. So phenomenal ride on his part to
Hmm.
ride at that level and not lose the front wheel, not to lose the bike for that long of a race, that hard at such a phenomenal track. Yeah, but it was a great race.
Yeah, and he said, people were asking him about his relationship with Mark because a couple seasons ago, they had a crash, and Bez said he was the dirtiest rider in history because
Right.
Bezzecchi comes through the, Valentino Rossi's academy, and Mark said, "You're going to regret saying that." And
Hmm.
what he meant by that is that you will mature and you'll understand, that was kind of nonsense to say that kind of thing. And he admitted that he has a good relationship with Mark and he has matured since then. And I think that shows in the results as well, in that determination and so forth. He's just put the whole package together. And I really do think he's a serious challenger next season and looking forward to it. And he also said, they asked him he rated the best riders in history, and he said Rossi, Marquez, and Wayne Rainey. So, as you grow a bit older, I mean, we're a lot older, you get more perspective. You get a way more perspective when you get a lot older. I can say that, or at least I did. But very enjoyable. And the next circuit I really love too, Malaysia. Uh, it's a shame it's not on the F1 uh, calendar anymore. Probably replaced by a street circuit. I've driven it in simulations, and it's extremely challenging in that there's all kinds of type of corners, a little bit of elevation, lots of mid speed corners, what I call mid speed corners, which like David Coulthard, I have the most problems with. I, if I go a bit too fast, I lose it. And if I get a bit too slow, I get past. So looking very much forward to that race, and it's a very big, long circuit. So I suspect tire management will be another factor, and I'm looking forward to it. So
It's a really nice mix of high speed and some really tight stuff in there. I'm just looking at the
mhm.
track right now, and the one
Yeah,
thing
the
that I'm
first corner, the second
yeah,
corner, super tight. Hmm.
but the other thing I'm looking at here, which is kind of mind boggling, is the tickets are cheap.
Yeah,
I mean,
Malaysia.
Friday to Sunday ticket is 100 starts at $138 for the whole event.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Wow,
good.
wow, wow.
I don't know what an F1 ticket is now in Montreal. Probably
Don't even go there. Don't
300 just.
eat. No, you're gonna get them that cheap.
Mm,
No.
right. Yeah, I haven't been since 94, 95. It's been a long time. Uh, and again, the first year I went, we were general admission. We were walking towards general admission areas, and we could see Senna come into the hairpin through the stands. And then the general admission was great. I could go to that corner where they call the Champions Wall, and
Hmm.
I could film there. I remember you said I did some great footage there. Um, then the next time I went, the assholes, to say quite frankly, covered up behind the stand so you couldn't see through them to see the circuit, and they made general admission just a nightmare. And yeah, I haven't been since basically. So, but
3 day
anyways, that's
tickets start at $350,
right.
and the tickets go up to $6,000.
Ugh, crazy.
Yeah, I'm
All right,
sure
John.
that
Well,
that gets you a grid walk. But anyway, thank you very
yeah.
much, Rob. Hopefully, we
Thank
get
you.
another great race again.
Yep. See you then. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.